Good morning students, welcome to the chemistry class. Today we are going to study plaster of Paris and water of crystallization. Okay, now plaster of Paris is one of the salt. You can see here plaster of Paris is calcium sulfate hemihydrate, right? So plaster of Paris is calcium sulfate hemihydrate. Calcium sulfate half hydrate. The formula of plaster of Paris is CaSO4 dot half H2O. The name of plaster of Paris came from the fact that it was first of all made by heating gypsum, which was mainly found in Paris. Initially, plaster of Paris was used in a massive way in the construction industry, but now it has many other uses, which we will learn after a while. Plaster of Paris is commonly known as POP. Now let's see preparation of plaster of Paris. Plaster of Paris is prepared from gypsum. Gypsum is calcium sulfate dihydrate, CaSO4.2H2O. That is, gypsum is calcium sulfate containing two molecules of water of crystallization. Plaster of Paris is prepared by heating gypsum, that is calcium sulfate dihydrate, to a temperature of 100 degrees Celsius in a kiln. When gypsum is heated to a temperature of 100 degrees Celsius, it loses 3/4 of its water of crystallization and forms plaster of Paris. So in this reaction you can see calcium sulfate dihydrate on heating at 373 Kelvin or 100 degrees Celsius, we are getting plaster of Paris and 1.5 of water. In the preparation of plaster of Paris, heating of gypsum should be controlled carefully. The temperature during the heating of gypsum should not be allowed to go above 100 degrees Celsius. This is because if gypsum is heated above 100 degrees Celsius, then all its water of crystallization is eliminated and anhydrous calcium sulfate called dead burnt plaster is formed. The anhydrous calcium sulfate or dead burnt plaster does not set like plaster of Paris on adding water. In the formula of plaster of Paris, that is calcium sulfate hemihydrate, given in the above in this equation, we have shown only half a water molecule as the water of crystallization. Please note that it is not possible to have half a molecule of water. The formula of calcium sulfate hemihydrate actually means that two molecules of calcium sulfate share one molecule of water, so that the effective water of crystallization for one calcium sulfate unit comes to half molecule of water. The formula of plaster of Paris can also be written as 2 calcium sulfate dot H2O. In fact, we can multiply the whole equation given in above equation by 2 and write another equation for the preparation of plaster of Paris as shown. So 2 in bracket calcium sulfate dot dihydrate, this is gypsum. So on heating it at 100 degrees Celsius, we get 2 CaSO4 dot H2O, that is plaster of Paris, and 3 parts of water. Please note that whether we write plaster of Paris as calcium sulfate hemihydrate or as 2CaSO4 dot H2O, it is just the same thing. Now let's see properties of plaster of Paris one by one. Okay, so this plaster of Paris is a white powder. Plaster of Paris has a very remarkable property of setting into a hard mass on wetting with water. So when water is added to plaster of Paris, it sets into a hard mass in about half an hour. The setting of plaster of Paris is due to its hydration to form crystals of gypsum, which set to form a hard solid mass. Okay, in this reaction it is shown calcium sulfate hemihydrate on addition of 1.5 part of water, we get calcium sulfate dot 2H2O, that is gypsum. The setting of plaster of Paris is accompanied by a slight expansion in volume, due to which it is used in making cast for statues, toys, etc. Plaster of Paris should be stored in a moisture-proof container. This is because the presence of moisture can cause slow setting of plaster of Paris by bringing about its hydration. This will make the plaster of Paris useless after some time. Let's see some uses of plaster of Paris one by one. Plaster of Paris is used in hospitals for setting fractured bones. Okay, here in this picture you can see for setting fractured bones in the right position to ensure correct healing. It keeps the fractured bones straight. This use is based on the fact that when plaster of Paris is mixed with a proper quantity of water and applied around the fractured limbs, it sets into a hard mass. In this way, it keeps the bone joints in a fixed position. It is also used for making cast in dentistry. Plaster of Paris is used in making toys, decorative materials, some ornaments, cosmetics, blackboard chalks, and cast for statues. It is used as a fireproofing material. It is also used in chemistry laboratories for sealing air gaps in apparatus where airtight containers or arrangements are required. Plaster of Paris is used for making surfaces like the walls of a house smooth before painting them, and for making ornamental designs on the ceilings of houses and other buildings. So this is all about plaster of Paris. Let's start our next topic, water of crystallization. Water of crystallization, or we can say the salts in which water of crystallization is present, is called hydrated salts. Okay, there are some salts which contain a few water molecules as an essential part of their crystal structure. The water molecules which form part of the structure of a crystal are called water of crystallization. The salts which contain water of crystallization are called hydrated salts. Every hydrated salt has a fixed number of molecules of water of crystallization in its one formula unit. For example, copper sulfate. Okay, copper sulfate crystals contain 5 molecules of water of crystallization in one formula unit and hence written as CuSO4.5H2O. Okay, it is called copper sulfate pentahydrate. Next example, sodium carbonate crystals contain 10 molecules of water of crystallization per formula unit and hence written as Na2CO3.10H2O, that is sodium carbonate decahydrate. Third example, calcium sulfate dihydrate. Then iron sulfate heptahydrate, FeSO4 7H2O. So all these are the examples of water of crystallizations or hydrated salts. One thing you should note, see all these salts. Okay, here you can see cobalt nitrate, sodium carbonate, nickel sulfate, magnesium sulfate, copper sulfate, iron sulfate. So out of these salts, some salts which are colored like iron sulfate or copper sulfate or nickel sulfate, right? So these colored salts, they are having this color because of water of crystallization. Okay, so it should be noted that water of crystallization is a part of crystal structure of a salt. Okay, it imparts color, sometimes it imparts shape also, it gives shape to that structure. One thing should be noted that water of crystallization is a part of crystal structure of a salt. Since water of crystallization is not free water, it does not weight the salt. Thus, the salts containing water of crystallization appear to be perfectly dry. Okay. So, the water of crystallization gives crystals of the salts their shape and in some cases imparts them color. So, for example, the presence of water of crystallization in copper sulfate crystals imparts them a blue color. Thus, copper sulfate pentahydrate is blue in color. Similarly, the presence of water of crystallization in iron sulfate crystals imparts them a green color. So, FeSO4.7H2O is in green in color. Okay. Now, let's see action of heat on hydrated salts. Okay, action of heat. So when hydrated salts are heated strongly, they lose their water of crystallization. By losing water of crystallization, the hydrated salts lose their regular shape and color and become colorless powdery substances. So powdery substances are also called amorphous substances. The salts which have lost their water of crystallization are called anhydrous salts. Thus, the anhydrous salts have no water of crystallization. When water is added to an anhydrous salt, it becomes hydrated once again and regains its color. This will become more clear from the following example. Copper sulfate crystals, that is CuSO4.5H2O, are blue in color. When copper sulfate crystals are heated strongly, they lose all the water of crystallization and form anhydrous copper sulfate, which is white. Thus, on strong heating, blue copper sulfate crystals turn white due to the loss of water of crystallization. Now, the dehydration of copper sulfate crystals is a reversible process. So when water is added to anhydrous copper sulfate, it gets hydrated and turns blue due to the formation of hydrated copper sulfate. Okay, in this reaction you can see copper sulfate plus 5H2O. We are getting blue colored copper sulfate pentahydrate. Thus, anhydrous copper sulfate turns blue on adding water. This property of anhydrous copper sulfate is used to detect the presence of moisture in a liquid. A few drops of the liquid to be tested are added to white anhydrous copper sulfate powder. The appearance of blue color in anhydrous copper sulfate indicates the presence of moisture in the liquid. Okay, we will now describe an experiment to show the action of heat on copper sulfate crystals. Observe this diagram. Okay, see in this diagram or in this experiment, take some copper sulfate crystals in a dry boiling tube. Okay, these are blue in color. Copper sulfate crystals are blue in color. Heat the crystal strongly by keeping the boiling tube over the flame of a burner for some time. On heating, the blue copper sulfate crystals turn white and a powdery substance is formed. Okay, so you can observe this very carefully in the image which I have shown you here. So on heating, the blue copper sulfate crystals turn white and a powdery substance is formed. We can also see tiny droplets of water in the boiling tube. These droplets have formed from the water of crystallization which was removed from copper sulfate crystals during heating. Cool the boiling tube and add 2 or 3 drops of water on the white copper sulfate powder formed above. The blue color of copper sulfate crystal is restored. They become blue again. The changes in color which take place on heating blue colored copper sulfate crystals to form white anhydrous copper sulfate and regaining blue color on adding water will become more clear from this picture. Okay, so this way we have completed lesson number 2 and next time we are going to conduct one experiment. Thank you so much.